I am going to be, on this video, reading Genesis 1, beginning at verse 6 in Hebrew, with English translation, followed by a very brief commentary. We have already done inductive Hebrew grammar from Genesis 1:1 to 2:4. I'm now reading through that section so that the Hebrew can be pronounced, and I'll do it slowly. And if anyone is following along, I would encourage you to have a Hebrew Bible open and practice pronouncing, and then also look at the grammar section that we have done called Inductive Hebrew Grammar, and that has already been done, looking at each word grammatically. So I've already done verses 1 to 5 in a previous video, and now we're picking up Genesis 1:6 and following. It reads, Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia b'toch hamayim vihi mavdil bein mayim lamayim. Vaya'as Elohim et harakia vayevdel bein hamayim asher mitachat larakia uvein hamayim asher me'al larakia vayhi chen. Verse 8. Vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim vayehi erev vayehi voker yom sheni. Let me read it again, and summarizing verses 6 through 8, which would be day 2. Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia b'toch hamayim vihi mavdil bein mayim lamayim. Vaya'as Elohim et harakia vayevdel bein hamayim asher mitachat larakia uvein hamayim asher me'al larakia vayhi chen. Vayikra, verse 8, Vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim vayehi erev vayehi boker yom sheni. So as we look at this text, we would translate it, and God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it divide or cause a division between the waters, literally up to the waters. And God made the expanse, and he divided or caused a division between the waters which were from under, literally up to the expanse, and between the waters which were from above up to the expanse. And it was so. And God called, literally, to the expanse. Here's the king on the throne. And God called the expanse heavens. And there was evening and there was morning, day 2. Notice in these verses of day 2, God does not have to struggle with the waters, as Marduk does with Tiamat in the Enuma Elish Babylonian account of creation. God just speaks and the waters go to their proper place. What a wonderful statement here that's being made about God as king on the throne. He does not have to struggle as Marduk did. He just speaks, and the waters or the expanse goes between the waters. The imagery here is like a disc that's been hammered out, where God slides it between the waters below and the waters above. And that is called the rakia, and that is used interchangeably for shamayim, the heavens. For example, in Psalm 19, it talks about how the shamayim and the rakia in verse 1 are used interchangeably in Psalm 19, verse 1. And so, again, throughout the Hebrew scriptures, the two words are used interchangeably. So notice again, we see God's great creative power on day 2 as the king upon the throne. And when I look at the New Testament, I'm reminded of what actually we can find in terms of how Christ speaks to the waters in the storm and causes the storm to be quiet. It's sort of like the Greek, sort of like saying to a dog, stop barking. And so the Lord speaks to the waters and says, stop. And again, it's interesting to see how the New Testament has a similar, can I say, theological point that Jesus speaks as well and controls the waters as the God-man. On day 3, we move from verse 9 to verse 13. And it reads, verse 9, Vayomer Elohim yikavu hamayim mitachat hashemayim el makom achad v'tera'eh hayabasha vayehi chen. And God said, let the waters divide from under, let the waters, be gathered together from under the heavens unto one place, and let the dry land be seen or appear. Verse 10, Vayikra Elohim layabasha eretz, ulemikvei hamayim kara yamim, vayar Elohim kitov. And God called literally to the dry land and said, in essence, your name is going to be earth. And to the gathering of the waters, he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Verse 11. Vayomer Elohim tadshe haaretz desha. Esev mazria zera. Eitz pari. Ose pari lemino asher zarovo al haaretz. Vayehi chen. So verse 11 translated, and God said, let the earth put forth green grass, herb yielding seed, fruit tree or fruit trees, making fruit to its kind, whose seed is in it upon the earth. And it was so. Verse 11, Vatotse haaretz desha, Esev mazria zera leminehu, ve'etzoseh peri asher zarovo leminehu, vayar Elohim kitov. And the earth brought forth green grass or grass, herb yielding seed to its kind, and tree making fruit, or trees making fruit, whose its seed is in it according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And then verse 13, Vayehi erev, Vayehi voker yom shelishi. And there was evening and there was morning, day 3. Notice on this third day, God caused the dry land to appear, Yabasha. It is interesting that in Exodus chapter 12, the same word is used when God divided Yam Suf, the Reed Sea or the Red Sea, and it became Yabasha. It became dry land. It's interesting, the God of creation, as I've said before, is the God of redemption. And I think that's a very interesting point that we're seeing here. I'm thinking of the New Testament in John 1, where Christ is the eternal Logos, the eternal Word, but he's also God of creation, because through Jesus all things were made. We're told in John 1, verse 3. Then we're also told here that the earth brought forth seed after its kind, fruit tree, and different types of seed. By the way, there's two types of seed. The seed like grass that is spread, and the seed within the fruit. But God is the source of life. He causes the seeds to bear fruit. It's interesting as we look at the New Testament, the idea of new birth is found especially in John's Gospel. And I'm thinking of how, again, Christ and the Holy Spirit working in the hearts of those that believe have a new birth. And that seed of the gospel causes that to happen because of the empowerment of Jesus Christ and what he has accomplished in his sacrificial death upon the cross and his glorious resurrection.